Hi everyone, Mr. Peabody here. Now I've tried to do this one video 4 times now. Every time it's failed. So I'm going to give it another go. And you're probably wondering why I've got it primed up for another one of my videos. Because I thought I'd explain to you the story behind the song. So how I wrote the song. And once you got the story, the whole song adds a whole new layer. So you might look at the song and think, oh, it's just a little love song. It is, but there's a whole lot more to it. So I'll play you some of it, and then I'll talk about it a bit more. And yes, my guitar playing, my rhythm timing has always been off, so it starts off a bit sluggish.
Something lost, I didn't lose it. A choice was made, I didn't choose it. Journey started, still a long way to go. And making heart, I didn't break it. Stolen moment, take it. Journey started, still a long way to go. When she comes home, I'll show her how I feel. My missing wheel.
Okay, there's certain aspects to the song that I'm going to explain to you now. When years ago when I wrote this song, I was living in Rockingham. Now Rockingham is south of Perth, so it's a bit of a hike going from Rockingham to Perth, and all my friends were in Perth, my work was in Perth, so I was travelling back and forwards from Rockingham every day. And one day, I can't remember why, but I had my niece and nephew in the car. Now it was an old 1974 Mazda that I had at the time, and my niece and nephew were in the car, and I was driving down the road, down one of the main roads in Rockingham to head up to Perth, and my front left-hand wheel came off the car and went down the middle of the road and jumped the curb and ended up in the bushes. And of course the car just went and then dropped, and we skidded off to a halt on the side of the road. Now no one was hurt, luckily, but just one of those things that you'd never expect to happen, but it did. And the kids were in the car and say, "Wow, that was great. Uncle Paul, can you do it again?" No, kids, we're not doing that. We're not doing that again. But that laid the seeds for the song, because basically, if you're missing a wheel on a car, it stops. You're not going anywhere. So there's something missing, and if you don't replace it, you're not really going anywhere. So that was part of the premise of the song, my missing wheel, as in I turned it into a love song, so it's about a girl, and if she's missing, I'm sort of stopped. You know, my whole thing stops, and I'm not going anywhere. So that was part of the premise of the song. Also, the chords I used were slight. They're not solid chords. They're sort of like just off chords. So they've got that sort of off balance sort of sound to them. They're still chords, but they're just off chords. so that when you hear them, it's like this is not quite right, but it's just off a little bit. So that was another part of the song. The long way to go was a long way to drive, and we didn't get very far. And without that wheel, we weren't going any further. And that was back in the time when I didn't have a mobile phone. That was basically get the kids out of the car, take them by the hand, and walk to the closest house and ask for help. And luckily, I got help at the first house I went to. You know, he got this guy shows up with two kids, you know, in tow, and I said, "Oh look, I'm sorry, I have a bit of problem with the car. Can I use your phone?" Not a problem. They let me in, and I used the phone. And the second part of the song, this is where it gets interesting as well, because this is actually incorporated into the story as well. I hope you'll bear with me.
Something not seen, I wasn't watching. Something stopped while the clock was ticking.
See where I went there? See where I went there? Something not seen, I wasn't watching. I was not expecting the wheel to come off the car, so I was not watching the wheel. Something stopped while the clock was ticking because the car stopped. So you can see how the whole story actually does wind into the song.
A heavy weight, I couldn't shake it off my back.
Now the heavy weight, in order to get the car back on the road, we had to put a big crowbar underneath the car to lift it up enough to put a jack underneath the car so I could jack it up and put the wheel back on. See how all this fits together? But I actually wound it into a song.
A word was spoken, I didn't say it, but I wrote it, and I meant it. Journey started, still a long way to go. When she comes home, I'll show her how I feel. My missing wheel.
Anyway, so that's part of the story behind the song, and I hope you found this entertaining. As I said, I tried to do this video 4 times and it's failed 4 times, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's failed a 5th time, in which case I'm just giving up. Anyway, take care, see you later.